Good evening, everybody. I'm Steve Owens, your tournament director with the Georgia Bass Nation Kayak Series. I want to talk to you this evening about our last two events we've had on Lake Hartwell and Lake Lanier. But before we get into that, I want to touch on an issue that we had with an angler on our Lake Lanier event most recently. Hosted that out of Atlanta Kayak Company and Oakwood Bait and Tackle there in Oakwood, Georgia, on Lake Lanier. The event went really well. We had a lot of good anglers catch some really good fish. During that tournament, we had some anglers send us a request to investigate some fish and the condition of those fish. So, myself and the judge, Daniel Davis, looked over those fish and we did have some question about them. One in particular was a really big largemouth bass that had a unique eye about it. We checked the condition of that fish. Yes, the eye was very suspect. The eye was really enlarged, but it still had its pupil, the coloration of its eye. The eyes do turn yellow for a number of reasons. Sometimes that's a fish that isn't alive. We inspected the rest of the fish. The fish looked to be healthy. Reached out to a committee that we have across the country. There's 6 or 8 of us tournament directors that communicate when we have these things go on. And just to shed a little light on that, within tournaments, there are always things that come up that make us wonder. There's things that we use each other for as a committee, as a sounding board, to make certain that we end on the right result for all of you that pay your money and trust us to do the jobs that we do. I feel like we all do a really good job of this. We communicate, even when we're having our family time, we stop what we're doing and help one another. And that's just to keep the integrity of our sport in check. And again, we're all human, even tournament directors, and we do miss things. And I had mentioned recently, a good tournament director will step up and admit, when there are things that they may have missed, or and that's not a bad thing to bring that kind of stuff to our attention. We're a self-policing body in the kayak world. So, it's a team effort. Just because, I'm the tournament director of a series doesn't mean, that I own it or I'm the unquestioned leader of it. I mean, it takes all of us to do this. And, so in these situations, we vetted the fish, we looked them over, questioned the angler about some things. And at that point, there's those fish couldn't be denied. Those fish, in our opinion, were alive. Couldn't matter of factly prove otherwise. And that's the sad fact of some things is, you have to be careful as a tournament director when you are questioning or denying things, because it's not just on impulse or what you feel. You have to look at everything diplomatically. And that's what we did in this situation. But there were questions that we had. So, waited, the weekend out, and then we consulted some other tournament directors. We host partner events with a lot of clubs around the country when we travel, for like the Hobies that come in, the Bassmasters, the Queen City, on down into grassroots like Peach State Kayak Anglers, Georgia Kayak Fishing League, and the Real Crazy League that was around for a while that's restarted, and a number of other tournament trails. Kind of, we always partner there so that we give anglers that haven't fished a level above grassroots before can get in and get their feet wet and learn how to do those things. And so we communicated with the other tournament directors on Monday, and then myself working for Bassmaster and helping with the Georgia Bass Nation, the Tennessee Bass Nation. I reached out to those governing bodies as well and discussed the situation, what the suspicions were, and the fact that, at a certain point, we need this angler to come forward and clear their name if there's things that are in question that aren't necessarily true. We need to make certain that not only that we uphold the integrity of our tournament trail series, we need to uphold the integrity of our anglers too. We don't want anyone mistreated, mislabeled. There's a lot of back chatter that goes on in the world, and in particular in our sport, and that's not healthy. I mean, just because you have an assumption about someone or something doesn't make that true. And that's why our phone numbers are posted everywhere, because if you ever have questions about that, reach out to us, because that's what we want to do, is to get this stuff handled. So went through the channels there, looked into what we needed to do, and that was to question this angler through a truth verification test. So reached out to the angler. explained to them what our concerns were about the condition of some fish, and that person, we need them to be able to clear their name and also to help us keep the integrity of the sport. And then, also explained the options of what happens when you take a truth verification test and pass it, what happens if you take the test and fail it or miss questions on it, because there's a misconception that you ace these polygraph tests, and it's not true. There are questions that can be asked that you may miss that question, but you're not lying. It's just the way you feel about certain things. And so what happens then is that person, along with the administrator of it, along with the governing body, they ask more questions and do an investigation into that question in particular, and then the final results are tallied, and you look it over and you make a judgment call on each specific situation. It's not as cut and dry and black and white as it may seem. And then it was explained what happens when an angler chooses to not take a polygraph test to cooperate with the officials. So the angler had their time to think things over, and the next day the angler contacted us and respectfully declined the opportunity to take a truth verification test to clear up the matter. We didn't have the facts that we needed to be 100% okay with this angler continue to fish with us, and especially if they're not willing to be able to do these sort of tests to help us keep the integrity of our tournament series. So that angler was then with the understanding, and they had accepted that they would lose their standing in the Lake Lanier event. They would be banned from the Georgia Bass Nation Kayak Series, and we will remove them from the Carl Black Chevrolet of Kennesaw Angler of the Year race as well. So when that happens, that angler's fish are removed or denied from Tourney X, and then anglers will be graduated up a place wherever that place is fit. So we will, if there are any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. I don't comment on these things on social media because that's not the appropriate platform to do that. The reason I'm doing a video now is because it's the easiest way to transfer information and put it the way that it needs to be stated, so that I don't have a typo or there's a misunderstanding of something that I've said. So having said that, there's one thing we also have to remember. This angler chose to not take a truth verification test. This angler was not caught cheating in any form or fashion whatsoever. So therefore, I will not name this angler. I'm not going to publicly discuss on social media these things. I mean, that's just not how it's handled. Because in the end, you have to be very, very careful. And this is some advice to you all towards slander. Because again, the angler did not put themselves into position to take a truth verification test. So therefore, there was no failing, there was no ruling, and there was no legal catching of this person cheating. There was only suspicion, and for whatever reason, the angler chose to not pursue the matter to clear it up. So having said that, again, we removed this person from our trail series. They won't be able to fish again. So if there were ever any concerns in the past about anything, rest assured it's gone. It's not ideal because we do want a matter of fact justice stamp put on something. But there are a number of reasons that people decline to take a truth verification test. That could be nervousness, could be a number of things. But either way, the angler understood what the options would be if they chose to not do that. And again, I'll state, they weren't caught cheating, but they did not choose to help us get the matter figured out the way that we needed to be comfortable with them to continue fishing with us again. So in the end, just take, like I said, if you ever had concerns in the past about it, you won't have to worry about it ever again. So it's been taken care of. It's been handled. It's something we take very, very seriously. I'm angry over it all, just as you all should be and are. But I will again advise, publicly, we don't have the right to slander people, and we shouldn't. It's not productive for our kayak community. It alienates other people who may be friends with other people that you're bashing. And what that does by association or extension is makes it to where they don't want to fish with us. And that's not healthy for all of us. We enjoy this too much. People are getting really good notoriety in the public space because of what they do, and you're cashing some really good checks now. especially on the Bass Nation level and then on down into the grassroots level. Georgia has a really strong grassroots system. All the tournament directors shouldn't have a problem working with anyone. We all want to do the job to the best of our abilities. I do feel like, and it's not easy to do. Public speaking isn't easy. Stepping forward and saying, "Yeah, guys, I missed something, but thank you for helping me see that, and we'll do our best to go forward with it." That's the easiest way to do it, even when it's difficult. You just come out in the beginning and say, "Guys, we missed this. Here's what we're going to do to fix it." And not every situation can you make it 100% right, but with some communication and hat in hand and understanding from the anglers, people will understand it and accept it, and they'll respect you for it, and then we'll move forward. So that's enough on that. The situation's been handled. It's done. It's over with. So we will back up to Lake Hartwell, which was a ridiculously attended event. We had, 120 anglers fish in it, 630 something fish caught. Andy Middleton takes home this win with a 97-inch stringer of a lifetime. That carried over into him finishing in fourth place, I believe, in the Bassmaster Kayak Series, which qualifies him for the 2024 Bassmaster Kayak Series. And Andy had a 21 and a quarter, a 20 and a half, a 19 and three quarter, 18 and a quarter, and a 17 and a quarter inch. So congratulations on you getting to get your trophy and checks and everything, and the applause that you deserve for that, Andy. A lot of people know, brother-in-law Andy. We all love him to death. He's a good ambassador to the sport. He's important to what Georgia has down there. He used to be a tournament director. He's always been able to be talked to on the phone when it comes to scheduling or just insight. He's an intelligent person. Second place there goes to South Carolina's Bennett Nall. He had 95 and a half inches, and so now that moves him to winning the Queen City event as well. And in third place is Tom Kazmierski, our Carl Black Angler of the Year leader so far through 3 events. And he also wins the Sniper Marine Big Bass. So he was tied with Joe McElroy with a 23-incher, but Tom beats him with a tiebreaker of a 19 and a quarter inch. So on there, fourth place was Lowell Brannon, who ended up winning the Bassmaster Kayak Series event on Lake Hartwell, the 2-day culmination of his efforts. Took him home $10,000. And in fifth place with 91 inches was Jamie Koza. So from there, Andy Middleton, Tom Kazmierski, Lowell Brannon, Jamie Koza, and Tony Yang will all make it to the Bassmaster Kayak Series Championship 2024. Moving into the event that I spoke of where we had the angler removed from our system, I'll do better at this one. I'll start out in fifth place now was Eric Hawks with 91 and a half inches. Tom Kazmierski with 92 and a quarter inches. Joseph Gayton, the reigning 2023 Carl Black Chevrolet of Kennesaw Angler of the Year, had 94 inches with a 21 and a quarter big bass of his own. And then second, first place, we had a tie between Kai Wong and Josh Choi with 96 inches each. I want to go through these stringers. Kai Wong had a pair of 17 and three quarter inch fish, a 19 and a quarter, a 20 inch, and a 21 and a quarter inch. Josh Choi's 96 inch stringer was a 17 and a half, an 18 and a half, an 18 and three quarter, a 19 and a quarter. And the tiebreaker for him was the big bass of 22 inches. So congratulations to those. We will help you all shuffle the checks and trophies to where they need to be from the ruling that we had to make. Looking forward to the rest of our season. We still have 2 more events slated. We're looking forward to getting to the 3 rivers that we're fishing. The Oconee, the Flint, the Okmulgee. We're hosted out of Milledgeville, Georgia down there, and that's going to be June the 24th. So reach out to us if you got any questions there. We're going to have Automotion Customs most likely on site. I've mentioned them before. They're in Warner Robins, Georgia. Just look them up for all of your truck, car, accessory needs. They do clear coating. They do glass work, tinting, the whole 9 yards. Custom wheels. They do leather seats, heated seats, all the tires that you need if you got a sports car or off-road truck or just want it to look real good. But they're a really good business down there. They fish. They enjoy what we all do, and they enjoy following along with us. So, again, I'll back up and just say, if you have questions about anything that happened, I will address them, in an official manner. I'll do it in a professional manner, and going forward, that's how we conduct things. You know, we're looking to grow everything that we have. And then as we grow it, we also have to step away from the things that are not good for us as a culture. And some of it is a bit of immaturity that we all are guilty of when we get angry or upset. But when it comes to handling matters like we do here, they don't always happen as quickly as you who are privy to secret information or information that's not public about things. Just because you know that information doesn't mean that it has to be put right out there on Front Street, because there are times when things are happening that you don't know about, and we have to have that silence to be able to function and do our jobs. But once you understand us and you know us and trust us, then we would appreciate that gratitude given to us. But until then, we understand, you have to learn people. And it's not always easy to trust people to do what's right. But so far, I don't think that you'll find anything that we've done that isn't above board. So, and there's no insult taken from anyone who has questions about why we haven't spoken about this yet. And to be honest, there was not going to be much of a public statement. But seeing the concern from people more and more, I understand. In the boat world, this kind of stuff doesn't happen. Just matter of factly, with Bassmaster and Georgia and Tennessee Bass Nation, when these kinds of things come up, the tournament directors handle it. The anglers understand what happened, and they know that it got handled. It's not an easy way to communicate that sometimes, but social media is not the place for this forum to discuss things like that. We have a body that is very, very much above board when it comes to communication, and we'll continue to do that. I want to thank all of our sponsors. We've got really, really good logos and banners that display all of them. We really need you to help with that. It's getting harder and harder to keep sponsorships because things are kind of tough in the world. But by all means, go to those Facebook pages and share their post and give it the like and the thumbs up when you see them on YouTube. If you can afford to wait on something, order it from them versus hitting Amazon or something like that. Take the time, maybe spend a couple of extra bucks. I'm not asking you to spend, an extra $100 on something. I mean, we all try not to pay full retail, but reach out to these places because they see it. We get name dropped all the time. We have people. I was speaking with Sniper Marine earlier, and they were talking about things that they see you all do on social media. And when you guys go in and girls and you talk to Dugout Bait and Tackle or things like that, or I'm pretty close with a lot of these bait manufacturers that you see sponsor us, and they see when you share things a lot, and they mention that. There's the marketing people that I work with our tournaments and stuff, and they have algorithms that they follow, and believe it or not, they backtrace them to where they originated from, and they get excited about it, and it helps us keep these prizes coming to you all, and to be able to keep the payouts as high as we possibly can. So again, if there's any questions, you have my number. Want to thank just the panel of judges that we have across the country that help us with things, the tournament directors in Georgia. Continue to just work together and reach out. If there's anything that I can do to help you, you know that I always will. And again, we'll see all of you on not Lake St. Clair, the Three Rivers Throwdown. Lake St. Clair will be in Milledgeville as well to close out our season. So get your river stuff ready, and we'll see you guys down there. Thank you.